next, I think, is Melinda. Melinda, come on up, sister of Courtney. Beautiful lady. Okay, girls, have a seat. And Melinda, do you want to share the good news or the bad news first?
We'll do good.
Good news.
Isn't that how we did it?
What's the good news? What can we add that's nutrient dense for our kids?
So we talked about hemp, which some of it's not what y'all are thinking, but we talked about hemp at our table, and we just talked about how it's very high in protein and easily digested, a lot more easily than meat, eggs. So it's really a good source of protein to add in to, well, we'll talk about how to add it into our diet after that. It also has a lot of essential fatty acids, and what's good about it, it has a good combination of the omega-3 and the omega-6 and the GLAs, so it's a perfect balance. Sometimes we're off, we get too much 3, too much 6, and it can really throw things off for us. And it also helps it's a high source of phytonutrients, which helps with our immunity, which is what we've been talking about, right? Trying to keep our immunity in check. So it helps really support our immune system. And we also said that it does reduce inflammation. We talked about the inflammation and how a lot of people think it's just swelling in your joints, but it has a lot to do with just your heart also. And it improves your circulation, which is really key for your cardiovascular health. What else? Oh, and it lowers your blood, the LDL, the bad cholesterol, which is the LDL, and it helps level out your blood pressure. So it's got a lot of benefits. And I kind of wasn't using hemp till a while, I don't know, probably a few years ago when I really, when you presented it here at one of the meetings. But now I add it to, talk about some of the things we add it to, which are our salads. I've done it in the salad. It's crunchy, so it depends on if you like texture. Obviously, they're the seeds. And I do put it in my smoothies. That's usually where I add it, usually 3 tablespoons into that. And you could put it, mix it into desserts, put it in cupcakes before, just to kind of sneak things in there. My kids are a little weird about texture, so I don't know if they like the crunch in a smoothie. But what do you think? You kind of talked a little.
Well, I kind of liked what she had said, how you can soak it in water possibly to soften them. Do you think that would work with the hemp? Or no? Would it soften? No.
I don't think
the
they don't really
soften.
right?
Oh, because I don't know how my kids would be if we put them in the smoothie. No.
They're not like.
Well, I have a mix.
Yeah, so if the hemp seeds are actually not like chia, they're more soft actually. So they're not like the chia where they're more crunchy and you need to soak them. So, but the hemp hearts, you can get them in their little packages. And actually, I just like to just down them and eat them. Some kids like that, if you start them out young, they'll like that. But mixing them in with some, like your smoothies or things like that, I think, because your baby's still young, isn't she?
3 in 1. What are your thoughts on the chia and hemp mix?
It's fabulous.
Good. Okay, that's what I have.
Yeah.
So just sneak that in there.
Yeah, so, there's really some great recipes for desserts. I know that Jenny and Diana are ball girls. They're ballers. They're the ballers. They make these amazing raw balls with cacao, and they're so delicious. And I don't know, did you put hemp in yours today? She put nuts. So you can do nuts, but you can roll them in hemp. If your kids are weird about texture, like she said, though, just throw them in a smoothie. They'll never know. I like to do, when I make my red sauce, which we're going to have another class. I'm definitely not going to have time to do it today, but I'll show you how to prep for the week and really be able to intersperse your meals. I've been doing this. It's been amazing. But, just when I make my red sauce for the week, I just throw a bunch of hemp in there, and it's all, so it's getting, you're getting more of the nutrient density, and then I'll throw it in their smoothies. Yeah, it's awesome.
Question. How much hemp seeds do you put in a smoothie? Like for my kids, I never know, I don't want to put too much, or can I put too much? But I don't want to put it not enough.
Well, the rule of thumb with superfoods is you start small and you increase. Hemp seeds are not usually something that you have to be more concerned about as you will with like when Jenny comes and talks about the spirulina or chlorella, because it's a really big detoxifier. Hemp seeds are more of a nutritional support, so it's not like you're going to overdose on hemp seeds. You're going to start like hallucinating or something like that. There's no THC in those, by the way. Don't try to make some brownies and get people have a party. It's not going to work for you. Not working for you. You're going to have to go do some different stuff. But anyways, so basically what the deal is that you can just put like a teaspoon in there for your little ones. You can do 2 teaspoons. It just depends. Sometimes because the hemp does have a little bit of a flavor, it can change the flavor a little bit. But I'm going to make, in just a few minutes, I'm going to make our rainbow smoothie. And I didn't bring hemp seeds, but you can throw them in there and you won't taste a thing. It's the best ever. Tell us the bad news.
Oh, the bad news, which I hope nobody's doing, but I know a lot of people still do. The artificial sweeteners, the aspartame, they're just horrible, and they are in everything. Anything that you see sugar-free has the aspartame. Yeah, anything diet. And it basically can kill your brain neurons, which will worsen your insulin sensitivity, and it can raise your insulin levels, which is bad, create havoc. And ingesting too much of it can also cause excessively high levels of phenylalanine, which can decrease serotonin, and that can cause emotional issues. It can cause depression. I just read recently about a lot of these people that think the aspartame is helping them lose weight. A lot of them are depressed, so they're eating more. And also the artificial sweeteners appear to perpetuate a craving for sweets, which that can lead to weight issues also, because it just leaves you wanting more and more and more. And multiple studies have also shown that artificial sweeteners can disrupt your body's natural ability to count calories. So you're not sure when to stop. So it's just got it's just bad all the way around. Something you just really have to toss. I know we say kind of pick and choose, but anything with artificial sweeteners, just read the labels. Just all about reading the labels. It's not just the aspartame, it's the acesulfame, potassium. There's tons of them. They're usually buried in there, but you really have to look at the label. Also, the high aspartame doses can generate major neurochemical changes in rats, a study showed. So that's especially when you're consuming carbohydrate containing foods, which a lot of us obviously do. So it's just not a good thing. We talked about that it's in so many different things, right? We talked about your husband's protein shake powder and stuff. It could be hidden in there. Yeah, you just really have to read labels. And of course the sugar. My second toss was sugar.
Let me just say a little something about aspartame, because as you know, at the beginning I shared that I drank Diet Coke every day, and not just 1 or 2. I probably drank about 3 a day, which explains a lot of my neuro issues. But anyways, I could not focus, and since I've been off of Diet Coke and aspartame for years now, and off of gluten too, because that was another thing with brain fog, I can actually function and actually have a conversation and be more present. But one of the things that we need to be aware of is, like, why is this in our food supply? Do we ever ask that? If it's bad for us and it's causing all these, holes in rats' brains, why is it okay? Why is it on the commercial? Why are all the stars loving Diet Coke, and what's the deal? So let me just say this very briefly so that you're aware. This was actually, aspartame is a genetically modified food. And because it's genetically modified, and the people in power that are able to get these things passed through are all very high in government, and also they all kind of work on the revolving door issue. Aspartame was not supposed to have been passed because of all the health problems, but it was. And now, because it's such a huge, thing in our society as far as like generating money, it's allowed, just like the food dyes. It's up to us to say no and to be the change and to begin to shift that tide and outcry against it and not ever buy it again. Sugar.
Sugar. Everybody loves sugar, right? Do you love it as much as cocaine? Because that's the study everybody references. No, well, it's true. And I don't know. I assume a lot of people see this, but it's not really in the mainstream media. But when they had a study done with rats and sugar water and cocaine, And the rats, even the rats that were already addicted to the cocaine, chose the sugar over the cocaine. So, I mean, it's just a huge study. We all know how addictive, cocaine can be and how bad that is. And the new, and it says new research revealed that it's more addictive than cocaine. That's been around a little while now. Also, it's what's driving the current obesity and diabetes epidemic today, everywhere you look. I mean, we're not talking about type 1, obviously, but the type 2 diabetes. It's all sugar, which are carbs. Carbs turn into sugar, and I don't think a lot of people realize that. They just think white sugar. White. And we talked about the raw sugar, which is a little bit less processed, the raw cane sugar. But it also increases your insulin levels, which gives, it's a huge spike, which can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, weight gain, premature aging. It's just bad. We have a nickname for it. It's the white devil, basically, because it's just, there's nothing really good that can come out of it. And it also suppresses your immune system. I know there was another study done where they looked at how within 20 minutes of consuming a high sugar product, how it basically just, your immune system was almost shut down after that. So when you're giving your kids all these sugary snacks, and it's really suppresses their immune system. They're not able to fight off any viruses and bacterial illnesses too. So that was a huge thing about the sugar, which we all kind of know, right? But I don't think some people realize how bad it is.
Well, one of the things I was noticing about the kids' snacks, if you look on the label and if there's any type of sugar within the first 3 ingredients, you really should try to avoid it at all costs. If there's a special occasion, it may be something that's an organic part of sugar, but really sugar is like she said, it's not only addictive, but it does suppress the immune system. And if you wonder why kids get sick so much around the holidays, you can look at what you've been feeding them, and it will probably give you a very good answer, and you do not need to look very much farther than what they've been putting in their mouths, which is high sugar and a lot of food dyes. And, it's been proven that it actually does suppress their immune system. What did that study say?
It was just within 20 minutes of eating a high, I don't remember the exact grams of sugar, but they showed how your immune system was suppressed within 20 minutes after eating a high sugar snack or just some type of food product. And it's also horrible for their teeth. The dental and your health of your mouth and your teeth. I mean, I have tons of friends, they complain because their kids are full of cavities. And some of it is genetic. There are certain things I know just happen, but a lot of it is what's going into their mouth. It's passing through their teeth. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah, so it's a big issue, and I think it's one that we can really, as moms, as parents, really clue into about being more mindful about the amount of sugar that we give them, so that we can give them the best chance so that they don't get sick, so that their health is better. And if it's sugar, it's probably genetically modified too. We're going to talk about that because sugar beets are one of the big crops of genetically modified foods, and we want to decrease that. So it's a huge issue, and so we just are going to avoid those foods that they're in, which is like almost everything.
Everything. It is. And another thing to bring up was when I was doing this research about the cancer patients that have the PET scans and the dyes injected into them. What do you think they inject into the people's body to have the cancer cells light up there where they go? It's glucose. You've heard that, right? Where that's what they inject into your body when they're doing these scans, and the cancer is just attracted to it. So, it's bad.
I know it's so weird sometimes how we can't figure out how to connect the dots, even though the information is right there for us, right? They inject us with sugar so we can see where the cancer is, but yet then you're in the hospital and they're giving you like Jell-O and like everything that has sugar and dyes and everything else in the world for you. It doesn't make sense, but we're getting empowered. Thank you, ladies. You're awesome. Yes.
What is the difference between stevia and Truvia?
Stevia and Truvia, I believe Truvia is more processed and it may have some additives in it, some preservatives and things like that. Look on the package, because I've noticed with Truvia, sometimes it has other, I've seen other ingredients on there. And so I just know that I've tried a lot of different stevias and I've looked and researched a lot about stevia. And really the best one that I found is either Donegate stevia or the one that we carry with Omeka. That's a great company if you want to like sweeten anything. That's one of the good sweeteners. Another good sweetener is grade B organic maple syrup, coconut sugar, and honey granules, raw honey. It has to be raw. And so those are good. Just limit those as well, because there's still a process that goes on in the body, especially if you have issues with blood sugar, or if you're battling any immune system issues, which cancer is an immune system issue. So you want to just be very cautious with the sugars that you put in your body, even the good ones. Thank you, guys.